welcome to Missing Mouse Podcast. I'm your host, Gary Howard. Thank you for joining me. Sorry it's been a while since I put out an episode. I have been super busy with my job as a truck driver and having all kinds of equipment issues, charging issues, and all kinds of stuff. But anyhow, I'll leave all the notes to the end of the episode. But today we're talking about the suspicious death of Tamla Horsford. Tamla Horsford spent the evening with friends and mysteriously ended up dead the next morning, but are her injuries in line with the accidental fall? At the end of this episode, I have found a little news clip that I'll replay from you that I found on YouTube. Often called Supermom by those who knew her, Tamla Horsford was the mom who was always present at her kids' games, cheering them on with signs and a megaphone. On November 3rd, 2018, Tamla was invited to a grown-up sleepover by her friend Jean Myers, whose son was on the same football team as Tamla's. It was Jean's 45th birthday, and she wanted to have her group of mom friends over for a pajama party and to watch the LSU versus Alabama football game. In addition to the 8 women at the party, 2 men, Jean's boyfriend Jose Barrera and Tom Smith. One of the other women's husbands was also in attendance. So let's talk about the night of the event. The first friend to arrive was Nicole, who came at 4 p.m. to help decorate. The rest was scheduled to arrive at 7 p.m. or later. With the game's kickoff happening at 8 p.m., Tam arrived close to 8:30 as she was home preparing a meal for her family to have while she was gone. By the way, she had 5 kids and all boys. So she was probably really looking forward to this night out. According to witness statements, all of the women brought different alcohol for the birthday girl. When Tamia arrived at 8:30, she had brought tequila from Mexico. She's from this Central America. Jean decided to decline because she didn't like tequila. One guest recalls Tom encouraging the other women to try because it was the good stuff, but they all declined, preferring to drink other liquor. They missed out because tequila from Moscow or is from Mexico is amazing. Keep in mind, she was the only black female there, or black person there. Keep in mind is that as well. I don't know if it plays a factor in it, but I listened to some things, some videos, and they mentioned that a lot. So around 1 a.m. after the games, most of the party was slowing down, and people began getting rides to go back to their own homes or settle in for bed at Jean's house. Though Tam had made plans to stay in one of Jean's kids' rooms, she wasn't quite ready to settle down. Of course not. She had so many responsibilities as a mother of 5 active boys, and she wanted to enjoy her night out. Another party goer left at 1:47, according to the security system on the front door. A few minutes after that, there is a record of the back door being opened at 1:49 a.m. This is the door Tamla had been using to access the balcony to smoke throughout the evening. At 1:50, it was closed. Then at 1:57, it opened again, and with no record of it ever being closed again. Jean's aunt, who was sleeping in the basement level, woke up around 8:30 a.m. According to her statement, she was about to make herself a pot of coffee in her room when she saw Tamla outside. The aunt said she knelt down to pray and looked outside and saw the Dalmatian pajama onesie Tamla was wearing again and knew it wasn't a dream. She didn't open the door or yell out. Instead, she went upstairs to get her niece, which I've been puzzled why she didn't go out and check on her. Jose and Jean got dressed, went downstairs, and called 911 just before 9 a.m. So it doesn't say if they checked on her or not, but maybe afterwards. According to both Jean and Jose's statement, they discovered Tamla's body with her arms by her side. But based on police reports, Tamla's right arm was to the side. However, Jean's described finding the body at the first moment. Both arms were down by her side, and that's why I know it was those other 2 women that are saying it, because they said they spoke to the detectives and her arms was here in a position to brace itself. It was not because the image is burned in my head, because the best way I could phrase it is almost looked like she face planted, because I'm like, I've never imagined someone landing with like her. I'm reading their statement. I'm sorry. Landing with her toes almost pointed and her hands perfectly by her side, like, and all this stuff based on Law and Order and CSI. It's not a good reference pointed, but I was shocked of how she was laying. This is what Jean stated, kind of like how she think that she had face planted off the second balcony. So when the police arrived at the scene, they asked all the partygoers to return to the house. They took measurements of the balcony and the distance from the railing to the ground. They concluded that the fall would have been 17 foot and 11 inches. Law enforcement also noted that Tamla's right hand had positioned at the 10 o'clock or a 40-degree angle, a detail that contradicts Jean's and Jose's statement. Police interviewed all 10 witnesses present, who all concurred that Tamla was happy in the life of the party. There was no conflicts, fights, or arguments among the women, and that everyone was in good spirits. Jose noted there was no sad or angry drunks. When the police asked Jean if anyone was happy, she said no. Wait, let me see that again. If anyone was happy, she said no, LSU lost. Which are in Georgia, just happened in Georgia. So Forsyth County sheriffs sent Tamla's body to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation for an autopsy. The report confirmed that likely scenario and theory that she had fell from the balcony. The autopsy report also shows that Tamla had severe injuries of the head, neck, and torso, making note of superficial abrasions on her forehead, above her left eye, the bridge of her nose, her right temple, and chin. She had a fractured vertebrae, her right wrist was dislocated, and a laceration was present on her heart. Her toxicology report showed a blood alcohol level of 0.24, so she was getting her drink on 3 times the legal limit, and traces of THC and Xanax in her system. So she was definitely feeling good. Tam's family believes there's more to the story and is working to have the case re-examined. And that's why we're here with this suspicious death. Where the case stands today, Tamla's loved ones continue to seek answers about what happened that night. The GBI has closed its investigation. Georgia Bureau of Investigation has closed its investigation, ruling that it was an accidental death. Her friends and family had started a petition to urge the FBI to investigate. You can add your name to the petition to have the case re-examined, and you can follow her family's social media to amplify their effects. To go get hashtag Justice for Tam, Justice for Tam, which I'm going to go right after I get done with this. Even shares on social media. It can help keep her case to public eye. So she was born, date of the death was November 4th, 2018. She was born October 10th, 1978. She was 40 at the time. She was Afro-American black. So let's see any sources of this. Let's see. I'm sorry. If you want to know more about the case, you go to the case of Tamla Horsford, Georgia mother of 5 dies, leaving a trail of questions. That's on Snoops. But if podcasts, I've not seen. There is some podcasts about episode 29 of Spare Time Sleuths. You can check her out there. More information that I have. But if you have any information about that, or you know anything, you may hear something, you're in Georgia at the time, of course you can always call your local police department, FBI, or go on social media, look up her name, and you should find something, which I'm going to do right when I get done with this. Tamla Horsford, TamlaHorsford. Also in the show notes, I'm going to put in an episode that Dr. Grande did from YouTube. He did an amazing job covering it, goes in all the details that I have not got into. You can email me at missingmiles70@gmail.com if you have any suggestions. Also, you can listen to Truck Stop Murder. I have a case about in Pensacola, Florida, where two doctors that worked at abortion clinics were murdered. Also, I'm still trying to do my YouTube channel. I might do that today. Of There's Terrible, 0 stars if I could. It's where I talk about all the places that I pick up loads from and delivers to. That is going to be fun. But without being said, as always, stay safe. And here's that recording I promised you from 11 Alive. It's Tamla Horsford family shares independent autopsy. So.
A death investigation is like a puzzle.
This can't be real.
2 law enforcement agencies investigated piece by piece the death of Tamla Horsford. Both concluded she got so drunk at a party she fell from a balcony after everyone else had gone to sleep.
We had a girls' night. We were all just drinking and we played cards against humanity.
But her family insists that narrative doesn't solve the puzzle.
Maybe she fell off the balcony, but she's stiff.
Okay, is she breathing?
I don't know if she's face down.
Forsyth County deputies called everyone that attended the sleepover back to the house for questioning. But it wasn't until the GBI got involved 2 years later that police searched for evidence on their phones. By that time, 2 people had new ones, and text messages and pictures from other phones were gone.
But like an ambulance didn't come. We just saw her come out in a body bag.
No one tried to roll Tamla over to render CPR. Not even police, who called off EMS.
There was no effort whatsoever done to try to save this woman's life.
The only one we know who touched Tamla's body was the homeowner's boyfriend. He declared her dead after touching her leg.
I have one deputy that's about to pull into your subdivision.
Then the destination is on your right.
Tamla's family believes race also played a role. The only black woman at the party in a county with few black people. The lead investigator on the case, Michael Christian, is accused of calling Tamla the porch lady and making derogatory racial remarks during the investigation.
I mean, that's horrific. In the racist, bigoted, sarcastic, funny way of this sick son of
On top of that, some of the responding officers knew the people at the party. The man on that 911 call was a former probation officer who, at the time, worked in the county's court system. And another woman worked with an officer's wife.
I'm sure you're good because her boss is my wife. Oh, well, then you're more than good.
In the recordings, we heard police tell the family that when the investigation is complete, they can access all of the records and the pieces will finally fit. But they don't.
Legally, this case is just beginning as far as I'm concerned.
I haven't been able to grieve her because I've been trying to fight for her justice for 3 years.
I have to know the truth.
So there you go. What do you think? You think that she actually got drunk and fell off the balcony? Or did something happen where Jean and Jose did something nefarious to her and brung her out there themselves? You be the judge. But let's find out what happened to her, murder or accident.